Ways to develop ecoliteracy in school. A growing number of educators feel the need to foster learning that genuinely prepares young people for the ecological challenges presented by this entirely unprecedented time in human history. We all know that teachers want to teach kids how to solve environmental problems. Our world faces big environmental issues never seen before. That's why education needs to help young people deal with these challenges. Thus, the goal is to raise students with an important perspective called socially and emotionally engaged ecoliteracy, which is a process that offers an antidote for fear, anger, and hopelessness which result from inaction. Hence, the act of engaging in ecological challenges on whatever scale is possible or appropriate, it develops strength, hope, and resiliency among young people. To help educators foster socially and emotionally engaged ecoliteracy, the following are in identified practices in age-appropriate ways for students, ranging from pre-kindergarten through adulthood, and help promote the cognitive and affective abilities with the integration of emotional, social, and ecological. We want to teach kids ecoliteracy, understanding and caring about the environment and acting on it. This helps them overcome fear and hopelessness about environmental issues. Getting involved, no matter how small, builds strength and hope. That's why teachers use various methods to teach this from preschool through adulthood, focusing on thinking, feeling, and acting to help the environment. First is to develop empathy for all forms of life. By recognizing the common needs we share with all organisms, we can extend our empathy to consider the quality of life of other life forms, feel genuine concern about their well-being, and act on that concern. That's why learning to understand and share the feelings of all the living things is important. We all need similar things to survive, so we should care about the well-being of other creatures. Feeling this empathy should lead us to act to protect them. For example, seeing a hurt bird and helping it find food and shelter shows empathy for its well-being. Second will be embrace sustainability as a community practice by learning the wondrous ways that plants, animals, and other living things are interdependent. Students are inspired to consider the role of interconnectedness within their communities and see the value in strengthening those relationships by thinking and acting cooperatively. That's why working together to protect our environment is the key or the important thing, that understanding how nature connects everything inspires us to connect as a community too. Thinking and acting cooperatively strengthens our communities and makes them more sustainable. For an example, a community recycling program shows how people working together can protect the environment. Next is make the invisible visible. If we strive to develop ways of living that are more life-affirming, we must find ways to make visible the things that seem invisible. By using web-based tools such as Google Earth, Good Guide, and Fujicate apps, we need to find ways to show things that are usually hidden to help us live better. Technology can help us see the impact of our actions on the environment. Using online tools like Google Earth or apps can reveal hidden environment issues. Like for example, using a food app to see the environmental impact of different foods help us make better choices. The fourth one is anticipate unintended consequences. Teachers can teach students strategies for anticipating unintended consequences. These include precautionary principle that when an activity threatens to have a damaging impact on the environment or human health, precautionary action should be taken. Another strategy is to shift from analyzing a problem by reducing it to its isolated components to adopting a system thinking, a perspective that examines connections and relationship among various components of the problem. That is why we should think about what might go wrong before we act. It's important to consider the possible negative effects of our actions on people and especially in environment. Instead of looking at problems in isolation, we should consider how everything is connected. For an example, before building a dam, we should think about how it might affect the river's ecosystem and the people who live nearby. The fifth one will be understand how nature sustains life. Ecoliterate people recognize that nature has sustained life for long, which resulted to turning to nature when their teachers imbibe three crucial tenets to ecoliterate living. Nature has supported life for a long time, showing us how it works. People who understand this, or ecoliterate people, learn from nature's success. They learn that everything in nature is connected and works together. This understanding helps them live in a way that protects nature for the future. First is ecoliterate people learn from nature that all living organisms are complex and interconnected that inhabit a particular place for survival. People who understand nature or ecoliterate people know that all living things are complex and connected. They understand that every creature depends on its environment to survive. These connections are essential for the survival of all living things. By understanding this interconnectedness, it is important for protecting the environment. Second is ecoliterate people tend to be more aware that systems exist on various levels of scale. Ecoliterate people understand that systems in nature exist at different sizes and levels. They see how small things affect larger systems and vice versa. This understanding helps them see the big picture of environmental issues. They understand how local actions can have global effects. The third one will be ecoliterate people collectively practice a way of life that fulfills the needs of the present generation while simultaneously supporting nature's inherent ability to sustain life in the future. Therefore, people who are ecoliterate live in a way that meets our needs today, but they also make sure to protect nature so future generations can strive. So they understand that we need to live sustainably to protect the environment for the future. This means balancing our needs with the needs of the planet. In conclusion, ecoliteracy fosters a sense of responsibility towards the environment. Students learn about ecological interconnectedness and the impact of human actions. Promoting responsible environmental behavior and being ecoliterate is important because it helps us understand how the natural world works. This understanding allows us to make better decisions that protect the environment. Protecting our environment is important for our own survival and for the survival of future generations. So, ecoliteracy empowers us to live more sustainably and responsibly.